There's a specific kind of quiet worry that shows up once the paychecks stop. Not panic, exactly. More like a low hum in the background of every purchase. Can I still afford this, now that money isn't arriving every 2 weeks anymore? Now that what I have has to last for a number of years, nobody can actually tell me. In Japan, that same transition happens on a much smaller average pension than most people in the West live on. And yet, walk through an older neighborhood in Japan, and you don't find the kind of financial anxiety you might expect. What you find instead is a handful of small, old-fashioned money habits, some of them a century old, that turn a fixed income into something that actually feels like enough. Today, I'm counting down 8 of them. Stay until number 1. It's the single habit everything else on this list quietly supports, and once you understand it, it changes how every other number here works. This isn't financial advice, just a look at habits and philosophy. For anything about your specific savings or retirement accounts, talk to a financial professional who knows your situation. Let's start with 8. 8. The coin jar ritual. At the end of the day, spare change goes into a jar by the door, not counted, not thought about, just dropped in on the way past every single day. It sounds too small to matter, and that's exactly the point. $1 or $2 a day, untouched for a year, quietly becomes several $100s you never had to find in a budget. The shift: keep a jar somewhere you pass daily, and let it be the one saving habit that asks nothing of your willpower. 7. Eating with the season. Japanese grocery shopping has traditionally followed shun, what's actually in season right now, rather than shopping from a fixed list regardless of price. In-season produce is both cheaper and better because it isn't being shipped from somewhere it isn't naturally growing. The habit isn't complicated. Before you shop, a quick look at what's actually abundant and cheap that week and building meals around that instead of around habit. The shift: let the produce on sale suggest the meal instead of deciding the meal first and paying whatever the ingredients cost. 6. Cash for the things that tempt you. For the categories of spending that quietly get away from people: eating out, small treats, impulse buys. Many Japanese households still use physical cash in a labeled envelope instead of a card. When the envelope is empty, that category is done for the month. There's no argument with a balance on a screen. An empty envelope is simply empty. The shift: pick your one leakiest spending category and fund it in cash for a month. Watching the actual bills go down changes behavior in a way a banking app rarely does. 5. Repairing. Instead of replacing, there's a long tradition in Japan of fixing what breaks rather than throwing it out. From simple mending to kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold rather than discarding it. Practically, this means a broken zipper, a wobbly chair leg, or a small appliance fault is a repair job before it's ever a reason to shop. On a fixed income, this single habit alone can be the difference between a $50 fix and a $200 replacement several times a year. The shift: before anything broken goes in the trash, ask what a repair would actually cost. You'll be surprised how often it's a fraction of buying new. 4. Nothing goes to waste in the freezer. Japanese kitchens are built around near-zero food waste. Vegetables portioned and frozen the day they're bought if they won't be used in time. Leftovers frozen in single meal portions and labeled with the date. Nothing left to quietly rot in the back of the fridge until it's thrown away, uneaten, along with the money it cost. Wasted food is one of the largest invisible leaks in any household budget, and it's one most people never actually add up. The shift: the next time you buy something that won't be eaten in 2 or 3 days, freeze it immediately, labeled, instead of hoping you'll get to it. 3. 1. In, 1 out. Before anything new comes into the house, a gadget, a decoration, a piece of clothing, something old goes. This isn't just about clutter, though it helps with that too. It's a built-in pause between wanting something and buying it. And that pause alone stops a large share of purchases that would otherwise have been impulse decisions. The shift. Before your next non-essential purchase, name the thing you'd remove to make room for it. If nothing comes to mind, that's useful information too. 2 left. And they're less about individual purchases and more about how you relate to money at all. 2. Mottainai. What a waste. Mottainai is a word with no clean English translation. The closest is something like, what a waste, said with real feeling, not judgment. It's the instinct behind nearly everything else on this list. Using the last of something before opening a new one. Valuing an object for as long as it can serve you, feeling a small twinge at throwing away something that still has use left in it. This isn't about deprivation. It's about a shift in what counts as satisfying, where getting the full value out of something you already have becomes its own small pleasure, instead of feeling like a limitation. The shift. The next time you're about to toss, replace, or waste something, pause for the length of one mottainai, one honest, what a waste, before you do. Just one left. The habit that everything else on this list has quietly been building toward. 1. Kakeibo. The household ledger. Kakeibo means household financial ledger, and it's been practiced in Japan since 1904, when it was created by one of the country's first female journalists as a simple notebook system for tracking money by hand. Every purchase gets written down, not tracked automatically by an app in the background, but physically recorded, sorted into a few plain categories: needs, wants, culture, and unexpected. At the start of each month, you set an intention for how much you'll spend and save. At the end, you look honestly at what actually happened. The power of Kakeibo isn't the math. It's the noticing. Writing a purchase down by hand, even a small one, creates a half-second of awareness that a tap on a card never does. And that half-second, repeated daily, quietly reshapes spending without ever feeling like restriction. For a fixed income, that awareness is worth more than almost any single tip, because it turns "I don't know where it went" into "I can see exactly where it went, and I get to decide what happens next month." The shift. Get a plain notebook, and for 1 month, write down everything you spend, sorted into needs, wants, culture, and unexpected. Don't change anything yet. Just look. The changes come on their own once you can actually see the picture. Here's what all 8 of these have in common. None of them are about having less. They're about nothing going to waste. Not food, not money, not the things you already own, and not the daily attention that, spent on noticing, turns out to be worth more than almost any coupon. A fixed income doesn't have to mean a smaller life. It just asks for a different relationship with what you have. Tell me in the comments which of these 8 you already do, and which one you're starting this month. If someone in your life is heading into retirement and quietly worried about the math, send them this one. See you in the next one.